Welcome to episode 10, as we're 10 episodes in of Action on the Gridiron. Lots to talk about, so let's get right to it. Starting off with the NFL, Eagles debut the Kelly Greens this week. Unis against the 5-1 Finns on Sunday Night Football. Should be a great game. Excited to watch that. The Giants lose, the Bills bounce back, but did they really bounce back? Very bad game, Bills-wise. Giants stayed in it, and they were supposed to lose by a lot, and they kept close, and the defensive holding at the end was definitely a penalty and should have been called right at the end there with Darren Waller. And I'm not saying they scored necessarily the next play, but I mean, so many big games. The refs just missed it. I feel like they missed it on Sunday. A lot of comebacks, not necessarily, but underdogs getting the win. 49ers and Philly were the two undefeated teams. No more. Browns get the win at home 19-17 with a missed field goal right at the end there by the 49ers kicker. And the Eagles lose in a tight one to the Jets. Jalen Hurts did not play very good, as he gave up 3 interceptions in the loss. But I think they'll bounce back against the Finns. Although against the Dolphins, it'll be a very close game because the Dolphins had an exciting game against the Panthers, but not in the beginning. The beginning, if any better of a team, they would have lost. They didn't come out of the gates at home very good. They're looking to continue their winning streak, though, of just good games, good receiving, good running, all that stuff. And I think that'll be a very close game. I do have the Eagles for that game. Home game, Eagles looking to bounce back after a terrible loss. I got the Eagles. I think they'll come away with the win in the throwback unis. Giants continue to lose, and as the draft board now stands at Bears, because the Panthers traded that to the Bears last season, so that the Bears would get the first overall pick in the last draft. I think it's the Vikings, then the Patriots, then the Bears, I think. Again, Bears do not have 3. I'll have to look at that. I'll put it up right there. I forget the other team. Could be the Giants by now. I mean, the Giants are 1-5. The Panthers are 0-6. The Vikings got the win. They're 2-4. Patriots lost another close one to the Raiders after I thought they played all right, but the Raiders came away with the win in that aspect. The Lions become 5-1 for the first time since 2011, which I think is huge for them because it proves that they're a really good contender because there's multiple teams that are 5-1. You got the Patriots. I mean, not the Patriots. You got the Dolphins. You got the Lions, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the 49ers. And I think all of them could win. Not the Super Bowl. Maybe. It's a little early for that. I know that we're week 7. But I think it's really important for all of those teams to just not get hurt, not get injured, stay away from all that stuff, and continue to play great. However, saying that, the 49ers did not play great, or did not receive bad news after they played good. Trent Williams is injured, Debo is injured, CMC, Chris McCaffrey is injured. You got to get those back. Guys got to get those guys back quickly, or else that could play a very big effect on the 49ers, as Brock Purdy struggled without them. And, I mean, that's normal because George Kittle put 2 guys on him. Who else you got? You do have Brandon Ayuk. A lot of weapons. It was weather. Whatever the case was, they have to they have to fix that after the loss, and I believe they will next week. I don't really doubt the 49ers. They're one of the main dogs in the league. Chiefs are up there too, although it does look like, and I've seen a lot of headlines about them getting a lot of calls, but I don't really think it's only the Chiefs. I think just altogether the refs have been a little bit off to start the season. Definitely off, but they're humans too. I'm not just going to hate on them because they are humans too. It's a really complicated stance, but that's what I got for the NFL, and really exciting in college upcoming this week too, as I'll talk about that, and I'll switch over right now. UNC gets the win against Miami, moves into the top 10 for the first time in a long time, so good for them. As they win at home, they also wore the throwback unis. Doesn't really matter, but they do look really good. Penn State grabs the win against UMass, moves up the rankings to number 7. They won 63-0. I don't really think they had any problems at all. UNC, I guess you could say that their defense, allowing Miami to score a little bit, but because in college, unlike the NFL, you have to blow teams up in order to move up the rankings so good, like we saw with Penn State. But it's good that UNC has moved up a little bit each week, unlike some other teams who haven't. But that being said, Washington gets the close win 36-33 against Oregon, and Oregon is still in the top 10. So it didn't really hurt them too much, although 9, you got a lot of work to do, and you need a lot of things to happen in order to maybe make this into a national championship type of deal. So it's really interesting at this point in the year to see where everything will go. Oklahoma got the win against Texas in the last video, and both of them are in the top 10. So teams are fighting, and I love to see it. This week, as it's Penn State at Ohio State, huge game for years now to come. Number 7 against number 3. Just so you were wondering, the top 10 is Georgia at 1, Michigan at 2, Ohio State at 3, following FSU at 4, Washington surprisingly at 5, although they've been a very strong team. That is where that stands now. As I pop up Penix stat and that duo that really helped them promote them to the win. Oklahoma at 6, Penn State at 7, like I said. Texas at 8, 9 is Oregon, following UNC at 10. So a very interesting and somewhat unpredictable top 10 this year. USC gets the loss against Notre Dame, 31-20. They're out of the top 10. They're still in the top 25. The top 25 is complicated because, yes, the entire top 25 matters for bowls, Cotton Bowl and whatnot, but the top 4 is what you really want to be in. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, FSU, Florida State, Seminoles, right there. Like Washington, Oklahoma, Penn State, you expected most of those teams I just said to be in there. Except for UNC. I don't think anybody saw them being top 10, so good for them. Washington, again, replaced them with USC, and I think that's what we thought in the beginning of the year, but that was really unpredictable, losing by so much. 3 interceptions in the first half for Caleb Williams, so definitely humbled there. Travis Hunter also got humbled, as Colorado has had, well, as some people would say, crap hit the fan, as they have been falling apart somewhat in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I know they got the win last minute against ASU, but they don't get the win after they were up 29-0 at halftime against Stanford. Travis Hunter looked tired. Most people say he looked tired. And I say, right out of injury, use him on only one side of the ball, because on defense, he got really, really humbled at the end there with the good catch by the Stanford wide receiver. But I think it's really important for them to just get in the room with their guys and just get it squared away, not publicly. Because I think a lot of the things that they've been doing right now is public. It's personal, the Prime, Coach Prime sweatshirts and stuff like that, and a lot of the arm watch thing, like that was all public, and people see that and they get offended by that. And Oregon really shut them up, and Stanford used that, when they won that celebration. So I think you got to get in a room with your guys and be like, we got to figure out right here, because the moment we step out there, they're going to be looking at us, and they're not really saying the great things all around. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, Primetime, Deion Sanders came out and said, like, do you love the game still? I think that's a terrible look on Colorado, because I believe that they want it just like anybody else in college football. And it'll be very interesting to see all those teams that I just talked about, whether it's NFL or college top 25 next week. Thanks for watching as always. 10 episodes in, I thought I'd take a look at the top 10. And thanks for watching as always. And as always.